Alright, so what if I wanted to add a few details to this little walk cycle? There's a few things I could do. For example, maybe I want to add a little blink to my character somewhere in this 10 seconds. You probably blink a couple of times, right? It's pretty small, but anyway, I'll just do it anyway. So there's a couple of ways I could do that. Obviously, if I come in here into my scene this way and go into the loop, I could add a blink here like this. I'm just going to turn on the eye close. Say I wanted to blink here. Then I could just do that with, I'd probably do something like this. I could do it like that. I could just turn that layer on there. So it only appears here, the little horizontal line. And I could turn the other one off. Oops, like that. Could be a way you do a blink. But I'm going to create multiple layers by doing that. So I'd probably just use transparency. I'd probably just go, okay, transparency here. From the eye closed, I want to be at 0, 1 frame forward to 100 so I can see it. Maybe I'll do 1, 2, 3. Another keyframe at 100, back to 0. And I'll do the opposite on the layer below. Let's just make those two eye layers the same color. I'll make them yellow. Now I'm just going to grab those two keyframes, go to transparency here, copy and paste. And so I'm just doing the opposite. Oops. So the top one goes from, the top layer goes from 0 to 100. This layer, the eye open layer, goes from 100 to 0. See, they swap. Just watch these numbers here. When I scrub back and forth, they go from 0 to 100. And then the opposite happens here. So that's my little blink. Now I can just grab those keyframes and make 2 blinks. I'll bring these closer together, a little double blink, something like, cool. Problem with that is now if I go back out into my scene, this guy's going to blink exactly the same place in the loop. So it's very repetitive, right? And I can't see it, it's tiny. So for a start, let's make it a bit bigger. I'll scale him up a bit. Let's go to 80%. Because I parented the shadow layer to him, obviously the shadow is just going to do exactly what I do here. You notice now he's a bit bigger, his foot's slipping, right? So I'd probably want to speed up my animation there as well, but let's just do that later. Look, you can see that blink is very repetitive. It's just happening in the same place. So this is what I would do. This may not be very, may not be there may be a better way of doing this. I'm just going to show you how I would deal with that situation. It's actually a good exercise because it shows you how to replace things from the project window and onto the timeline. So I'm going to go into my walker looped scene. Remember, we just looped our animation in here. It's just one cycle looped. And I'm going to go in there and I'm going to turn that expression off. How do I do that? I just option click on that timeline. Yeah, gone. Now it's back to just being one little loop with that blink on it. Now that loop is called walk one loop. There it is. Walker underscore one loop. What I'm going to do is a bit of a cheat, but I actually find myself using this technique a lot when I'm doing animation. So I'm going to just duplicate that link here, call it walker one loop, and instead of calling it 2, I'm going to call it blink. So I've got 2 different versions of the loop now, and I'm going to go here into the one that's not the blink, the original one, and delete the blink. If I'm going to get rid of the eye closed layer, and I'm going to get rid of the keyframes on the eye open layer. So it's this Walker 1 loop here is, this Walker 1 loop has got no blink on it now. Let's go back into the looped. This is this comp where I'm going to loop them. So I'm going to now duplicate that. Rather than putting an expression on it, I'm going to duplicate it like this. And just, it's not as elegant as doing an expression loop, but it serves exactly the same purpose. I can still change the timing of them easily by selecting all of them and hitting the stretch factor and just compressing them on the timeline. Now I want to say I want him in this 10 seconds, I want him to blink, let's say here. So on that one, I'm going to replace that one now with the blink layer. I could do that, but I'll have to go and adjust the timing now. So I'm going to show you this technique. It's exactly the same as in Premiere. I'm going to replace that layer on the timeline with this composition by going Option, click and drag to here. And you see that, let's undo that and I'll just show you again. Look over here, Walker 1 loop. If I grab Option click on Walker 1 loop blink, you'll see its name is going to change. There it is. So now the blink is going to happen right there. Yeah, I could do, maybe I want him to blink again here. I'll do it again. Option, click and drag, replace that on the timeline. Very useful for editors, that one. You'll use that a lot if you get into Premiere. Okay, what's another little detail I could add in here? I might just also do something with this shadow. I'm going to put a corner pin on it. For a start, I'm going to try putting the shadow the other way, behind him. No, I won't. I'll put it where it was. But I'm just going to distort the shadow now, rather than it just being flat to camera. Just type in corner pin. I'm just typing corner pin here into the effects menu, the effects and presets window. If you can't see that because my head's in the way, let's just put it over here. So into effects and presets, I'll copy, click and drag that onto my shadow layer. Now I've got these 4 pins on this effect with which I can distort that layer. A corner pin. 4 little pins, 1 on each corner. So I'm just going to do that, that, and that. Let's do a bit of that. It's going to match up perfectly with my feet because it's just part of the nature of 2D animation. But having feet contact well with your ground plane is always a challenge in visual effects and animation that you'll find. So one of the common things they'll do in a movie is they'll actually put grass or rocks there to mask where those feet connect with the ground. But you can see that's a nice, I'll just leave it. I'd probably do that if I was doing this for a job. I'd probably hide the feet, or I'd work on really how they contacted in the ground. But this is just a nice demo of how you can also use a corner pin. All right, I hope that helps. There's some little details you can add to your walk cycle.